Hello and welcome back, folks, to the Netolic Raid Call Pro League West Division Winners Bracket Round 1. Essentially, basically our first quarterfinal match for the West Division. And two teams that I am extremely pleased to be able to broadcast for you today. We have Artyk Gaming from Peru on the Dire side for this game, and Meenix Esports from Brazil on the Radiant side. This will be a best of 3, and the winning team will move on to the winners bracket round 2. The losing team will be dropped to the losers bracket, where they have another chance to play out through best of 1 matches and still make it all the way back to the tournament championship if they can do so. Two very talented teams. Artyk, of course, playing a number of games today already. This will be their 8th, 9th, and possibly 10th games of the day. So if nothing else, a major shout out to Artyk for the competitive spirit that lets you guys play 10 games in a row, which is really quite remarkable. I'm Vikermond, your official English caster for this tournament. My co-caster is El Presidente. He should be here. How you doing, man?
I am quite good. And I am muted in Dota TV again.
Oh, well, at least you
there we
figured
go.
it out.
Now it's fixed.
All right.
Yeah,
all right,
I just
fantastic.
remembered I was playing some games before I started casting, so
Right.
that is...
You don't like having open mic for when you play games?
No, because I usually speak to other people on Skype while I'm playing.
Oh,
So it's
you
like-
talk behind your teammates' backs.
No, it's like a 4-man stack that I run, so...
All right, fair enough. All right, so we're up in this game. Artyk, of course, today playing very, very, very impressively. I mean, in general, this team is just impressing me more and more. It really seems like they're sort of playing for a spot in the top echelon of Western teams. Not just sort of content to lapse in obscurity, but really wants to take the fight to some of the best teams in the world. And today, and when we saw them in the We Play League and in the group stages of the Netolic Pro League, they performed admirably. They actually took a game off of Navi today, one of the strongest teams in the world, and came very, very close a number of other times. So just in general, very, very, very impressive play from Artyk coming out. And both teams, some of the interesting things in the draft here is the first phase Bane ban. This is actually very smart from Meenix. Oh, and they actually secure up both the Rubik and the Lifestealer. So I was just about to comment on the fact that there are certain heroes that both these teams really, really like to play. And I expected a fight, particularly over Rubik and Lifestealer. And so Meenix being able to secure both of these heroes, I mean, Iwo has played Lifestealer, I think, 5 out of 6 games today. So that's been a lot of Lifestealer play. Masoku, of course, favoring this Keeper of the Light very heavily. And Mystico, we've seen him do amazing things on this Rubik before. But Meenix, not to be outdone, we have seen Lifestealer piloted up by, I believe, Sono many, many times. And Rubik is a very popular hero for them as well. So both teams getting some of the heroes they want, and we'll sort of see how they actually manage to pull it out.
Absolutely. As soon as I saw Wisp, Keeper of the Light, I was going to say Chaos Knight's probably the next hero on Artyk's list, just because that combo is an absolute pain to deal with, because Wisp will tether Chaos Knight, Keeper will shock for Io, and then all of a sudden Chaos Knight's running around with max mana about to Reality Rift you again. And this is going to be really dangerous for Meenix to deal with, just because the Tether Stun is unavoidable when it's Chaos Knight's Reality Rift. On top of that, it's going to be immediately followed up by a Chaos Bolt. So that's like a minimum of 3 seconds that you're being disabled to a maximum of 6. So there's not really much you can do about it. Often run as a dual mid, but with this particular setup that Artyk have, they are going to be tri-laning this most likely.
Almost certainly, I would say. Yeah. I mean, Meenix, there's some good news. Well, actually, the Nature's Prophet Io interaction is somewhat interesting, because Io can very, very much punish a split-pushing Nature's Prophet. But the flip side is that Nature's Prophet can reinforce a gank target. So if Io and Chaos Knight decide to drop in for a cup of tea with one of Meenix's players, they can try to reinforce that player with whoever's on Nature's Prophet. Most likely Gizi, if I had to guess.
That said, I'd really like Meenix to pick up the Disruptor to round out their tri lane, and that will actually give Artyk a run for their money to try to gank anyone that has a Disruptor nearby. Makes it really difficult.
It is
That
strong
said, it's
against
also it's also not a weak tri lane support hero. They're not going to get a lot of kills with that,
No.
which is the
10
downside.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, I like the
But they will
Disruptor
be
idea
able
a lot,
to
actually.
stay safe, which is I
5 seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
Yeah. We haven't seen Disruptor in a while. Teams sort of
Reserve
floated him as a possible pick, and then he sort of faded out. But I honestly think he's a hero with a lot of potential. He's someone that you can deploy against this Chaos Knight IO and could potentially be very useful, considering the fact that if they then had Nature's Prophet and Disruptor, that's one of the teleporters being sent back, and the other one potentially ganged up on by the remainder of the team, plus Nature's Prophet. So I agree, I would love to see that pick. I don't know if we'll actually see it. Both these teams... one of my, not criticisms, but actually, I think this is actually a strength, particularly Artyk today. They've played very coherent lineups in every game, but it always seems to rotate around the same sort of core heroes for every player, which I actually think as a young team is a very good idea. You want to build the core competency on a certain group of heroes so that you can sort of maximize your potential in that respect and really grow as being able to play together as a team unit and then worry about diversifying the heroes. But the flip side is you can eventually be, you know, not downloaded, but you can be... Teams can sort of figure out what you actually look for in the draft and try to pick against that. And I think that's part of what Meenix have done here. Denying out the possibility of Mystico securing up that Rubik. Denying the possibility of Iwo going on the Lifestealer. If they were watching today's games of Artyk, there aren't better heroes that they could pick solely to sort of pseudo-deny.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is Meenix were
10
watching
seconds
today's
remaining.
games with Artyk. This last bench would go into TA.
Yeah.
Not only would it
5
fit
seconds
perfectly into
remaining.
Artyk's lineup, which is a very heavy gank-oriented lineup as it is, it's also a hero that Smash has shown incredible competency with, especially against Navi, where he basically led his team to victory on that game too in the first set.
He played excellent Templar Assassin. Other heroes still in the pool. We do actually still have the Keeper of the Light.
No, he's picked.
Oh, was it... Wait, what?
You said something about Keeper of the Light. He was picked by Artyk.
Oh my god, why do I always say that? I'm so sorry, folks. I've been awake a long time. I totally meant Phantom Lancer, and half the time that I mean Phantom Lancer, I say Keeper of the Light, and I don't know why I do that. I'm sorry.
If they run a Phantom Lancer, then they can go for a 2-2-1 lane.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
They could go 2-2-1 with something like a Clockwork is still in the pool. Actually, Darkseer has been taken out, which is another very popular hero for them. And then take Bounty Hunter. So I actually would not be terrifically surprised to see the Keeper of the Light coming last. So they would put Mihawk on the Bounty Hunter, and then Iwo on the Chaos Knight, smash on the PL, and run that. I actually think that would be a pretty strong approach. Meenix really need a strong tri-lane to deflect this. Maybe even something like a Lina, so that they can run Lifestealer Rubik Lina and put a ton of pressure in that 3 versus 2 lane.
Remaining.
I don't know, but if we do see a 5th pick Phantom Lancer coming out, that could be very, very strong, I feel.
Yeah, it does kind of... First of all, what I really like about Artyk's lineup is that, there's the Lina pick. I'm sure you feel so smart.
Oh, I feel so smart. I'm wrong so much of the time, El Prez. I'm so wrong about picks.
it's like being like a market analyst. Well, there's the TA. It's like being a market analyst, though. You say a bunch of random things, and eventually you'll be right.
Yes. Market analyst and/or soothsayer.
Exactly. Like, what's his name?
Yuri Geller.
No, the other one that
John
wrote the
Edward.
book. Not like what?
The
Why
crossing
are
over
there
guy.
mess? Remake all pick. Okay.
Okay.
Always fun to remake.
All right. Let's get that going.
But that's definitely going to be a tri-lane versus tri-lane action right there. At least that's the goal. So here comes the mind games, basically.
Wait, what am I missing? Where is the... Oh, okay. There's the lobby.
There it is. AAA just made it.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying that...
I guess you weren't saying anything much of interest, then.
Oh, wait, sorry. Somehow I muted myself, and I'm not even sure how that happened.
On my end, you just said... I was just saying... Awkward silence.
You know what? That happens sometimes because I don't know. I have a hotkey set up on my keyboard, and I guess I accidentally clicked my hotkey, so I muted myself on accident.
No worries. I do want to,
Anyways,
while we wait for this lobby to remid, I forgot to do my usual PSA. Primary sponsor for this tournament is Raid Call. Thanks, Raid Call. Great voice over IP program. You should absolutely check it out. I actually forgot that I was supposed to plug it until I saw somebody message me on Raid Call. Not about that, but nonetheless, good to have that reminder. They are our primary sponsor. They've been running giveaways in the 2013 Raid Call channel, pretty much all tournament wide, and they're going to continue to do so as we move up through the rounds. So be sure to check that out. Raidcall.com to download the program, channel 2013 to discuss the games and be eligible for giveaways. So you were saying about the draft.
Oh, it's basically going to turn into who can mind game the other team better, because if Artyk called the lanes correctly, if Artyk managed to predict the enemy tri-lane, they are going to win it very handily with their particular lineup. It's almost like we saw Visaged earlier this morning, where like those heroes in tri-lane situations will do the best. And honestly, I think even against Lina and Rubik, the amount of damage that Chaos Knight, Wisp, and Coddle could put out in a flash is ludicrous.
Sure.
That said, I would have loved to see a Zeus pick just to add to the globalness of Artyk's lineup. Just for funnies. Like, I'm not even being serious. Just
it's
because.
Not a good idea.
It's like
they would lose mid so much.
We're going old school MYM, Meet Your Makers, global strats with Furion, Zeus, Wisp, and Coddle. I don't know. Fun stuff. Spectre is involved, you know?
I hate this idea. I'm glad they didn't go for it. I mean, it was good at the time. I don't think.
Yeah,
it would
but that's
work
like pre-magic stick as well. Yeah. So when Zeus couldn't be countered by a 200 gold item.
Right.
But that said, this tri-lane is dangerous.
Are we speaking? I mean, I feel like both tri-lanes are dangerous, honestly. Rubik, Lina, and Lifestealer is no slouch. And I mean, neither is IOCK, Keeper of the Light, of course, but I don't know. I feel like both lanes have a lot of danger inherent to them. That Lifestealer can just walk through everything that the Artyk tri-lane can throw at him. I mean, everything. They don't have much in the way of disables. It's really just that Chaos Knight stun. And you can prevent a Chaos Knight from leveling in a 3v3 lane, or at least slow down his leveling. And that'll make it very difficult for him to actually reach the point at which the stun is reliable. Even that 1 to 4 second stun, more often than not, you're not tremendously happy with the stun time that puts out.
My only
not to mention travel time. Sorry.
My only concern, though, for Meenix is that it really, for me, it comes down to the fact that one team will have better sustain in lane. And that's Artyk.
Sure.
By virtue of having near infinite mana, which is only amplified by the existence of Wisp. With the existence of Wisp, each Chakra magic is worth 2.5 times more than it would normally be.
Right, that's true.
So it becomes fairly ridiculous. And, you know, usually I say Wisp is picked up, where's the Soul Ring? Doesn't need the Soul Ring in this matchup, because he will have infinite mana.
Right.
So it really comes down to, they just got to pull enough regen onto IO, and then problems will be there for Meenix, because it comes down to who can sustain better in my mind. And regardless, if we take this to the ultra late game, I'm still giving the edge to Chaos Knight over Lifestealer. While Chaos Knight does get really tanky, like lots of health, the problem his damage is in absurd bursts. We're talking like magnitudes of 600 damage bursts coming out from illusions at the same time. And the problem is for Lifestealer is that he's very good against consistent damage that he can predict, right? He's actually really good against Phantom Lancer while his rage is up, while he's not being beat on by like infinite number of illusions because of that. He's good against Anti-Mage because of that. He's weak against Tiny because Tiny does damage in absurd bursts.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I follow what you're saying. I don't know. I feel like both teams have a lot of presence in the late game. I mean, Lifestealer can get pretty big, and let's not discount the fact that Gizion Nature's Prophet could go a little more carry-heavy and put out a lot as well. But of course, Artyk have massive damage. I feel like an extremely important item for this Lifestealer for Sono is going to be Assault Cuirass, because I think it's going to substantially change the balance of the game. Artyk's damage is so tilted to the physical between Bounty Hunter, between Templar Assassin, and Chaos Knight, that high armor for Meenix could spell the difference between winning a fight and just dramatically losing it.
We should probably introduce the players, because we actually haven't done that yet.
Yeah, alright, I'll take up Meenix. So, the Brazilians, 3-0 in their group stage. In fact, both teams 3-0 in their group stage. Looking to take this out and continue on through the winner's bracket. Meenix, we've got Gizi up on the Nature's Prophet. He looks like he might be going safe lane solo or jungle, I'm not sure. They will be putting 3 up in the top, so Sono on the Lifestealer, their stand-in player, D on the Lina, and Zoyo on the Rubik. And finally, the middle will be taken up by Fuzzy on the Puck.
On Artyk, we're seeing Smash on his signature TA in that solo mid. Iwo playing the hard carry role on the Chaos Knight. We got Mystico playing the Wisp. Masoku playing his signature Keeper of the Light. And in the offlane, Mihawk getting complete free farm because for some reason, once they saw Mihawk... Yeah, Gizi, he should have immediately come out. I'm not even sure why he's even staying in the jungle anymore.
Are you seeing these intimidation tactics at top, by the way?
Yeah, I saw the Wisp sneaking up behind and Soto freaking out.
Oh, I'm talking about the repeated queuing of Reality Rift.
Oh yeah, that's really funny, actually.
He's done it like 6 times. He's trying to bait out the rage.
One time he's going to do it, and he's going to forget to cancel it, and he's going to waste 170 mana doing it.
But at any rate, for now, I was just having some fun here. I mean, let's keep in mind, and why don't we talk about this a little bit? Artyk have had the longest day. They've played 7 games already just today. 5 against Na'Vi, one of the premier teams in the world, and then 2 against 4 Friends plus Trilly, which they actually won, and that's a pretty serious sort of tier 1.5, tier 2 European team. So they've played a lot. This is now their 8th, 9th, and potentially 10th game. Do you think that's good for them because they're warmed up? Do you think it's bad because of fatigue? What are the potential factors here?
It's going to be hard to say. Obviously, playing over 10 hours, which it has been for Artyk, could be a large strain on them. That said, that also acts as a lot of practice, and we do see that a lot of these South American teams like doing lots of scrims before they have any official matches. Mm-hmm. That said, Artyk were scrimming against the best in this case. They were playing against Na'Vi. Yeah. So if anything is going to warm them up, it's going to be that.
Right. Oh, we do have Dexter disconnecting, so we're gonna get a reconnect from Dexter. Actually, I wanted to quickly talk about before you resume, because I think you're definitely right that it's. We have seen South American teams do a ton of scrimming. In fact, sometimes we have to pull them out of scrims to actually go to their scheduled games. So, Artyk have definitely gotten a ton of practice. I do have to say though, it's one thing to play like 3 games, like 1 series. But it's another thing entirely to have to play 3 series and actually get... Artyk are now out of the We Play tournament. I mean, they played very well. They had a really tough group, in my opinion. Na'Vi and Maus is really not an easy group to actually make it through. So I feel like they had a very tough time. And maybe the morale... On the one hand, it's got to be high because they did so well against Na'Vi. Better than anybody was expecting them. Even people who have closely followed this team since even they were under the Gamers University banner. But on the other hand, I mean, you got eliminated from a tournament, and now you face, well, not elimination, but you face potentially dropping down to the loser's bracket here. So I think there definitely has to be an element of sort of some fatigue, at least a little bit, on Artyk's part.
Absolutely. I'm inclined to agree. That said, it clearly hasn't weighed much on Mystico's mind, considering he drafted up such a fantastic lineup, sure, especially given his team's preferences to certain heroes, yep, and the fact that they also got such high-caliber ones like the Wisp, like the Coddle, and like the TA. And TA may have faded from popularity as of late. It doesn't necessarily mean that TA is still a bad hero, especially against Puck.
I think TA's
that's a lineup that...
Kinda.
I think, yeah, it's kind of bad, because, I don't know, TA faded when people realize, wait, she's very easy to gank, we should go do that.
Right.
Oh, Fuzzy.
Ooh, actually, wait, where?
In mid, almost died.
No, I think he's okay. Smash is putting a lot of pressure on him. I mean, it's that DD rune. It does pretty substantial damage even when it bounces off. But Fuzzy will make it out. Actually, Mihawk rotating over, trying to... Nope, not quite, unfortunately. Fuzzy manages to escape, essentially by the skin of his teeth, although now Mihawk is spotted out, so they have a very good idea of the location of this bounty hunter. And they're rotating a lot of resources for him. Do they have detection is my question. Right now, it doesn't look like they do, but they have rotated a lot. Dexter's here, Zoyo's here. We actually do see 2 dusts on Zoyo, so if they can find him out, Smash is deep in here, going for Fuzzy. It looks like they may transfer onto Gizi. Good Sprout, he cuts right through it with a Tango, and Gizi taking a lot of damage, lifted up, telekinesis on Mihawk. There's the Light Strike Array, Illusory Orb going through, still dealing some damage, but Mihawk is dusted up, maybe 1 more Illusory Orb, 5-second cooldown still on it. He actually might be okay. It looks like the dust is going to wear off in just 1 second, and it looks like he's safe. And no first blood still. Meanwhile, Smash doing a lot of damage to Zoyo. Here comes Mystico. He is tethered. Lots of damage from the spirits. And Zoyo will... Nice Light Strike Array. Good telekinesis left. But Zoyo gets the last hit. And Mihawk actually picks up first blood from the Bounty Hunter. Takes him all the way up to now to level 4. And this BH is going to hit level 6 pronto.
I owe you one.
That was a fantastic rotation coming out from Mystico. Like, that was... really the reason why they got any kills there. Fantastic tether. Level 2 tether means a 1.25 second stun, and that's really what managed to get them the kill on Rubik there. That and the fact that by the skin of his teeth, Mihawk survived that entire engagement.
Yeah.
And I also really like this Orb of Venom pickup.
Yeah. I do have to say, I think you were completely right about the try versus try, and it's really cost Meenix. The fact that they originally ran the 3 versus 3, then realized that it wasn't going to strategically work for them. They've now rotated Sono to the bottom. They briefly considered a tri lane, but they just can't seem to find the positioning for these supports, and consequently, Zoyo is level 1. Dexter is level 2, and the supports of Artyk are actually up to 3 and 4 already, so Artyk taking a substantial lead, not to mention probably this tier 1 tower.
On bot.
Yeah, pressure
Mihawk
on
actually
Mihawk bottom. Sono is whacking away. They've got the dust. There it goes. They just need a little bit more damage. There's the Fade Bolt, and last hit for Sono, so that's a pretty substantial kill. Try to oppress, who's on the banner? Mihawk a little bit more, and I like this choice. I like this development for Lifestealer for Sono, but I really feel like these support levels could be a problem if they can't find the right lane to put them in.
Here's the big problem. They lost their tier 1 tower on top already, and that's another 850 gold for the CK, and it gets him that much closer to his drums.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. It also gets Mystico that much closer to his level 6, and there we go.
Ooh, top.
Easy.
We do actually have a lot of damage getting thrown out. It looks like Geezy going to get picked off, so unfortunately this Nature's Prophet hasn't quite been able to make it happen so far. And Mystico and Iwo just pressuring very, very heavily. Level 5 for actually both of them. No, Mystico's still at level 4. But Artyk so far showing no signs of fatigue, showing just that yes, we want to be known as a very, very strong team, possibly the strongest South American team. And I think this is one match towards answering that question. We do have at least 4, possibly more South American teams in this Netolic Pro League competition still in the mix. And so we'll sort of see in these matchups who actually has the right to claim that title. But Artyk making an excellent case over the course of the day so far.
Absolutely. It's just fantastic play coming out, mainly from Mystico and Iwo. This combo is doing lots of work, basically, for Artyk, as well as Mihawk's performance on the bot lane, getting that early first blood, barely getting himself killed, and they're actually spotting out Geezy here, and...
Oh, interesting. I thought that this was just anti-jungle, but it looks like he's just going to harass Geezy out, and wow! Lots of damage being taken by Nature's Prophet there. That Orb of Venom plus the Janana just doing substantial amounts of work. Oh, he almost got the Courier there as well. He decided not to de-stealth, and I think that was a good idea because he can get rounded up on very, very quickly. But still, trouble for Meenix. They really have to continue worrying about this Bounty Hunter because he did find his early levels.
I was really hoping, actually, that Mihawk would have been there like a second earlier and stole the bottle. And that pretty much
oh
would
my
have...
god.
That pretty much would have meant the end for Fuzzy. Like, that would have been a game over for mid lane.
Not game over, but definitely he would have lost the lane, I agree.
But the problem with Puck is that if Puck doesn't get his early levels, he doesn't get enough points in the Dream Coil, his nukes. Jesus, is he actually killable?
Sure, absolutely. There's the Dream Coil now. Smash is popping that. He will be lifted up. They've got 4 here. The Light Strike already somehow misses, but Sprout comes out. He has no way to cut through this. Mystico rotates over, so Smash is still alive. He's got the refraction up. It looks like he'll escape. Mystico, meanwhile, standing here. He might get lifted up. They could do more damage. Light Strike already will hit on Smash. He's got just the 1 rank in it left. Big Illuminate coming out from Masoku. Actually, they're going to punish them. It looks like Soyo will go down. Yes. A kill for Mystico, and Mihawk looking to clean up. He's only got the 1 rank in Shuriken Toss. Will he be able to kill Dexter here? Yes, he does! It's a kill. He's halfway through level 5, and it looks like he'll just walk all the way back out here. Wow! Artyk, just such clean play. Staying in until the moment that they have to leave, then leaving. An excellent rotation from the supports as well.
Absolutely. This is really where I think Artyk's strongest... Well, their greatest strength lies. It's really the rotation. Mihawk, Masoku, and Mystico, when they saw that Smash was getting almost killed in mid lane, he was there. They were all there, ready to turn that around. They turned a 4v1 engagement to a 4v4 engagement and came out ahead with 3 kills. Or 2 kills.
2 kills.
And that's a huge win for them. Not only do they keep Smash alive, Smash, who is known for winning games for his team, but they also got a couple of kills while they were at it. And not only that, that puts Wisp that much closer to his level 6.
Right. Now, to be fair, Sono throughout all this time has gotten solo lane XP, he's gotten solo lane gold, He's at 2,000 gold, so phase boots plus 2k, so he's doing very, very well in development. Matching Smash in terms of levels, actually a little bit ahead of where Iowa is. Iowa just now hitting his level 8. Although this is a dangerous level for Artyk to hit, frankly. 8 on Chaos Knight, 6 on Io. That's the level combo that you look for to start that relocate pressure, and I think we're probably going to see that start to happen soon.
Yeah, obviously, Sono's going to be pretty much impossible to gank by this combo, but that doesn't mean people like Puck are. Fuzzy is actually very gankable. Yeah, especially with that track. Oh, track is gone. But Fuzzy, very gankable. Geezy, very gankable.
Sure.
You know, Dexter, the supports, all of them are gankable. Sono might be the exception, but the problem with Lifestealer is that Lifestealer, very kiteable. Right. So, and with Wisp, it's going to be very hard for Sono to really latch onto somebody safely.
Looks like, actually, what do you think about this medallion on Smash?
On Smash. I like medallions. I think they're fantastic. Fuzzy.
Oh, here we go. Fuzzy, he's taking a ton of damage. He will actually phase shift, and it's not nearly enough. Dream Coil is up. They're getting those. Wow. Dexter. To say that he got popped would be an understatement. He was there and gone in a flash. It was like he blinked out of existence.
Yeah, that was honestly one of the worst TPs that could have happened for Meenix right there. You know, there are things, never TP on the tower when there are people attacking it. He did just that, and normally that wouldn't get you killed, but he's level 3 against a level 8 Chaos Knight, so that's not normal.
How much of his armlet does... it actually looks like the entirety. So armlet is done, both on Iwo and on Sono. This will develop both heroes. It's a little better on Lifestealer, at least this early, but still very, very good on Chaos Knight. Lightstrike Array go off. Dexter is tracked. Mihawk will try to do the rest of the work here. Masoko with a huge Illuminate manages to pick up the last hit. Sono will attempt to chase, but he doesn't have anything to stop this TP. Will Masoko get out? He does! And here's Smash. He wants to deal a lot of damage here as well. He pops off the Templar Assassin Trap. It does not stop Sono. It looks like Sono might actually be okay. Here's a TP from Geezy. Have they overextended here? Sono using his armlet. Mihawk taking a pretty large amount of damage. They want to get the stun here. Did they get the stun? No. They will get it on Geezy. Mystico coming through with a lot of Spirits damage, and that's one. Not the one they wanted, perhaps, but still one. Meanwhile, Iwo just getting another tower kill. Goodness gracious, Artyk are all over the map, and they're chasing out Zoyo. Will they get the track off? The track comes through. Good light strike array from Dexter. They're going to continue chasing. The Templar Assassin Trap just to slightly slow him. Now they're under tier 2 tower. Can they continue this chase? Lots of damage coming out from Smash. He's going to pick off Zoyo. Actually, Fuzzy manages to pick off Masoku in the midfield of play, but I'm watching this chase bottom. Sono's back in the picture. Mystico might drop, but Smash picks up another kill. And Sono, I'm not sure he has the gas to actually stop Smash here. He is TPing. He's got Refract up. He makes it out. And so 1 for 3 or 4 trade there, I feel like, plus a tower.
Two, because Masoku dropped.
Right, you're right.
In a different lane, but you know, we'll say that's all one engagement because that all happened at the same time.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did miss that one kill, but I think I have an excuse. Meanwhile, Orchid Malevolence being built on Bounty Hunter. Any insight on that?
Yeah, Nature's Prophet. Like that's really all there is to it. Nature's Prophet.
Go on.
Nature's Prophet can TP out, and because the mini stun on the Shuriken Toss does nothing to interrupt a ability with cast time rather than channel time, basically you need a silence.
Sure.
And in
Smash
that
in
case,
a bit of trouble here, actually. He was pressuring the tier 1 tower, but will Zoyo actually find the lift? He doesn't. Tier 1 boots versus Power Treads. Tier 1 boots loses, unfortunately.
Second thing on this Courage Medallion that I would really like is that it's going to let Artyk go for an earlier Roche if they want to go for it.
Yeah, definitely. Between Meld and a Medallion of Courage, or as you say, Courage Wolf Medallion, they will be able to bring down that Roche extremely quickly. Here comes the relocate. Zoyo already in trouble. He's so little health on these supports compared to the damage that they can bring out. Fuzzy taking a little bit of damage, but I will actually in a bit of trouble here. 2 seconds stun on Fuzzy. They do bring him down. Sono attempting to return damage, and the relocate comes out. Meanwhile, Smash is picking off in the back here, getting easy with the track up. Smash, will he make it out of here is my question. He does cop a light strike, but he's actually stealthed Sono with the infest. Good kill there. In fact, an excellent kill. But still, they keep getting... Meenix can't seem to find better than a 1 for 2 trade.
Yeah, that's definitely worth more than the ones that they got on Mystico and Masoko earlier, but that said... Oh, nope, that's Tower Deny, and now almost makes it worthwhile, but... I don't know. The amount of farm Sono needs to really make Meenix's lineup worthwhile is almost an absurd amount, and that's a real problem, because Chaos Knight... will do more damage, and that's just because of the fact that illusions do 100% damage, and burst damage ruins Lifestealer.
Yeah, yeah.
When you can melt 60% of Lifestealer's health in one swing, he's not going to be able to restore it fast enough with Feast, no matter how much attack speed he has. Well, okay, maybe if Chaos Knight had a health pool of 10,000, but we're talking about
he
reasonable
will eventually
numbers.
have a pretty big health pool. We do see Iwo starting up on that Black King bar, so... Or actually, God, I don't know, maybe it'll be Desolator. I think it'll be BKB, because Meenix do have a lot of magic to be worried about.
I wouldn't put it past him to build a Desolator. It lets better tower pushing, it does better damage, and if that crucial AC is picked up on Sono, that's a really good item to have, but it's probably BKB. Honestly, I'm surprised that he's skipping Drums this game because of how much early game pressure he's trying to put on, and Drums is one of the best early game items. So
sure.
It's a little bit interesting, but BKB is going to be absolutely almost mandatory against Rubik, against Puck, and against Lina. Especially Lina. You don't want to get bursted by Lina.
No, you generally do not. Now, keep in mind, Dexter, he's still level 5, but he's getting there. He's at 173 of 600, about 1/3 of the way to his next level. So that'll get him that Laguna Blade. That's no joke. I mean, Iwo has been dropping pretty low in these fights. You can see he's even fairly low now. So an errant Laguna Blade, especially when he's armlet toggling, could be the end of this Chaos Knight. And so BKB, going to be a fantastic asset. Sooner or later will be very useful for Templar Assassin as well. My question is actually, will Smash go BKB or Blink next? What do you think?
Probably Blink. I wouldn't sit on this much gold if I was going BKB. Also, too, I love that Mystico actually bought a Soul Ring. Like, you know how many Wisp games I say he should have bought a Soul Ring, and they didn't? I say Wisp should buy a Soul Ring. Mystico did it, and he makes me happy.
So Soul Ring Trank's definitely a legit build. Gives you that heal, gives you that mana regen. It's quite good. Arcane Boost also fairly legitimate, but I know a lot of people do like that, including my erstwhile co-caster here, do prefer that.
The comparison for the Soul Ring Tranquils, which is like standard on all heroes with spammable mana spells, including the Glorious PL,
sure,
would be, for Wisp at least, the alternative would be an Earn plus Earn plus Arcane Boost. That's the alternative.
Right.
That's a more expensive alternative, which I feel gives you less impact, honestly. Just because Earn does require you to get more kills, but if you do get the kills, then yes, it can work out.
Right.
But honestly, I think Soul Ring is better than Arcane Boots in terms of mana gain. And
for yourself personally, but it doesn't give it to all 5.
For yourself and for your one target. That said, that's still an absurd amount of mana that you're getting, and on top of that, it lets you also send health. With Arcane Urns, you gotta get an earlier point of overcharge to actually make any health go out.
Sure.
Soul Ring lets you do that without any problems.
Yeah, but 1 point of overcharge is legit anyway. I feel like no matter what, you want 1 point in overcharge. It's actually really good. The first point gives you like 40 attack speed, and each subsequent point only gives you 10 more.
I still think the best part of overcharge is that straight flat damage reduction.
It's good. I just mean the first point relative to any other points scales the same for the damage redux. No, we've seen some great play with that overcharge damage reduction. No Tail solo mid Wisp the other day, managing to not get first blooded like twice just by popping the overcharge for like a split second when getting auto attacked. It was pretty sick.
Yeah. It's just like a straight up 5% to 20% damage reduction will make the difference. And okay, Smash had a phone call. That's why he went missing.
No comment.
But that said, I'm trying to see what else we're going at. Masogu is very much on his way for picking up. Oh, okay then.
Phone calls for everybody. Sorry, folks. We'll resume with this game in just a moment. Gonna try to figure out what actually the deal with Artyk's team is. Unfortunately, it seems like they've had 2 disconnects. I don't know if Mihawk and Iowa are in the same building or something, because that was extremely evenly timed DCs right there. But hopefully they'll get back in as soon as possible. Sorry, you were saying?
I don't know if I have any. Well, if we look at Nature's Prophet, he's actually Gazy's a little bit closer to his mech than Coddle is, but I don't know. I still feel it's going to have a little bit more impact on Artyk's side just because of the Wisp. Which it makes Armlet toggling on Chaos Knight a little bit safer. Just
it's very important for both teams, honestly.
It is, but if you time it perfectly, right, that 225 HP heal, I think it's 225. I could be wrong. Let me double check before I continue. 250. Yeah, 250. It turns a 250 HP heal for your entire team into a 250 HP heal for your entire team, plus an additional 375 for whoever Wisp is tethered to.
Right.
And that turns it into a over 600 HP heal.
What?
Sorry. No, it's...
Go on.
Yeah, it's 600.
Sure.
Over 600. Because you got 250...
Oh, you mean for that one individual person? Yeah. Sorry,
I
don't know why I'm so absent-minded today, folks. I'm sorry.
Not because you've been casting all day. That's why. And like all week, with the TPL and everything else that you're doing.
The viewers deserve better and they expect better. I do want to say, I still feel like, I don't know, I bring up support levels a lot, and I feel that it's really important and it's an under-examined issue. When you start with an aggressive tri-lane and you can't quite make it work, and then you relegate the supports to sort of a roaming role, and you still only find 4 kills, the problem here is that Zoyo can't find any steals. Not that there's, like, game-changing teamfight spells on Artyk, but Track would be useful. Any of Keeper of the Light spells would be useful. Even something like Refraction, just to keep Zoyo alive, would be great. And so the fact that he can't steal any of that, the fact that Rubik... Despite the fact that he's used almost universally as a support these days, this is a guy who, he's very effective if you just leave him at level 6 forever, but the next 7 levels for Rubik after level 6 are no joke either. Maxing out that telekinesis and absolutely getting those null field levels is a huge, huge deal. Level 4 null field is almost as useful to your team as a Pipe of Insight is, and that's like a 4k gold item.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, Artyk's lineup may not be the most affected by the null field. It's still going to be phenomenal when you're trying to prevent a push coming out of Masoku or push into Masoku.
Right.
Either way, having that extra 20% could make the difference between your creeps living or not.
Absolutely.
And that could make or break a tower push. And I completely agree that support levels are significant, and that showed up a lot in this morning's game in Orange versus MUFC, where supports were really the game makers in both sets.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I mean, Mystico has had some absolutely fantastic games. I mentioned his Rubik. We'll see if we see it in this series, actually, or if Meenix are going to continue tactically scoring it or actually banning it out. But we've seen some fantastic Rubik play from Mystico, both in this tournament and just overall. He seems to just be able to avoid fights long enough to actually pick up a Blink Dagger in almost every game, even when he's hard support Rubik. And after Blink Dagger, Rubik just becomes such a terror because it's so much easier for him to spell steal the right spell at the right time and get out with it.
Yeah, Mystico's absolutely phenomenal support player, and honestly, if I had to say it, so far Mystico is the MVP for his team. Sitting at 1-1-9, he has participated in 10 of his team's 13 kills.
Yeah, it's no joke.
And
more than anybody else substantially.
That is an absurd amount. Second place is 3 team fights behind him, and then behind that's 5. Right. That's an absurd participation difference between Mystico and the rest of his team, and that it's really just phenomenal how well and how effective IO is being in this fight.
Yeah.
That said, if he plays super well, he might get a heart at some point, and that would really be a problem for Meenix.
Right. Well, heart's a long way off.
It would be an absurdly long way off because Mystico has to spend all of his gold on wards.
Right. Oh, it does look like we had like a power outage issue, unfortunately, for Mihawk and Io, who I guess live in the same town. So, but it does look like they're coming back, which thank goodness, because we've got a good game and a good series ahead of us, and I'm glad to see that it will not be cut short by technical problems. That would be highly unfortunate. So, looks like we are going to go back into the game in just a few minutes, folks. But yeah, I agree with you, and I think Mystico has just done a great job captaining this team. I do have to give him a call out for that, because Artyk, especially, one thing I found in observing South American teams, which I've done much more, I am by no means an expert in South American Dota, not even close, but I have been casting a lot of South American games and watching a lot of South American teams develop in the last 2 to 3 months or so. And one thing I've found is that rosters in particular seem very, very fluid. Like, if somebody's on one team one week, they're on one team the next week. And this has its pluses and minuses. The pluses are that, you have sort of a talent pool, everybody's friends with each other, they sort of know each other, you definitely can get scrims, you don't have an issue finding a stand-in for your team, all that other stuff. But it's got its disadvantages too, in the sense that, you don't get practice with the same group of people, you can't form a super cohesive team unit, and you just can't get that sort of team camaraderie to the same level that I feel you can with a very stable roster. And Artyk, They have a very stable lineup. I mean, I haven't seen them use a stand-in in a long time. In their last, like, 15 to 20 games or so. They always sort of have the same core lineup. They have very defined roles, which is another thing that's a little bit different from what a lot of teams do. Smash is almost, I mean, they always have the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 roles. The only exception being that when they run a Phantom Lancer, it's usually Smash playing him. And then Iowa will take up the sort of, like, number 3 farmer on, like, a Lifestealer or something. But they have a pretty fixed roster. They have pretty fixed roles. They have the heroes they like to play, and they're so cohesive and act so well as a team that I really think it's impressive. Not to short Meenix on this either. I mean, they played extremely well in the group stages of this tournament. I wasn't expecting them to come out with as convincing performances as they did, and they definitely have a ton of team spirit as well and are really, really tight together and have played some fantastic Dota.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like so far what we're seeing, and it might be just because of coincidence, but the South American teams are really showing how strong they can be in a professional setting compared to some of their contemporaries. Things like Meenix going 3-0 in a group stage that contained, I believe, Root Gaming.
Root, Lions Pride, and
Isurus. But
yes.
yeah, and going 3-0 in that group is not easy.
No. Root was running
also,
Merlini for the whole tournament, and it's a pretty good lineup.
They're still running Merlini.
I think so, yeah.
And Artyk, on the other hand, went 3-0 in a bracket containing Fnatic NA. So it's not like they were up against slouch teams. They were up against very competitive teams, and they just ended up really showing up and performing very, very well. So
yeah, definitely. These teams have availed themselves extremely well. I am looking forward to seeing Meenix in more tournaments than just Netolic Raid Call. They performed well in the other Netolic tournaments, so the Americas Cup, the Latin weekends. We've seen some great play for them. I think they won one of the Latin weekends, and they were finalists in the most recent America's Cup. So other tournaments run by the same organization, netolic.tv. So you can check those out on netolic.tv. But I haven't really seen them venture out of that so much just yet. Whereas Artyk, we saw them in when they were still Gamers University, their former sponsors. We saw them in the Defense 3 qualifiers where they did quite well. Obviously, we just saw them play in WePlay. They got through the first phase, and then we just saw them get eliminated in the second phase, but not for lack of trying, frankly. I felt that they performed about as well as you could expect any team performing against Na'Vi. I've seen many so-called Tier 1 professional teams perform far worse against the new Na'Vi roster than Artyk did today. So both of I would love to see Meenix in some more of these semi-pro reaching into sort of professional / semi-open tournaments. I do know that the Join Dota Masters and Join Dota Open are starting next week, I believe. And that's one venue I think Meenix could really excel in. And I would love to see them in tournaments like that.
Absolutely. It's just Meenix really need to try to get their name out. And I think this is a great tournament to start with because it is with an organization they're familiar with. But that said, I feel like they can perform in bigger tournaments than just this one. I feel like they can do very well if they tried out for the defense. They might have been able to do maybe 4th place in their group, and that would have been phenomenal for them, depending on which group they are. Obviously, if you get dropped into a group of like Na'Vi and Maus, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. But
going to be tough. Generally tough.
Poor Artyk. That said, it's this entire fight, I feel, this entire match in particular, the one that we're actually watching, I feel it's really going to come down to whether or not Meenix can get Sono as fat as possible. And that's going to be the real problem, because he's going to need a ridiculous amount of tank to keep himself alive against Artyk's lineup. And it's going to be mostly coming from armor items. If you just look at Artyk, the only source of magical damage is 500 from Keeper to the Light,
right,
and 500 from Wisp.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be noted, it's not just that Meenix are facing a level deficit on their supports, it's that these supports from Artyk are just getting fantastic leveling. I mean, Io with maxed out spirits. Like, the fact is, even though magic damage is obviously not the raison d'etre of their team, they've got a lot of magic damage just from the fact that these supports have found their levels. Like, the fact that Keeper of the Light does have a 500-point Illuminate already, and Wisp does have a 500-point Spirits, that's 1,000 magic damage pre-resist. That's not a joke when you have Nature's Prophet, like, heroes with 758, 872, 606 HP. I mean, if Lina stares the wrong way at one of those Illuminates, it's going to be bleak.
The other big problem is both of their abilities, both of their 500 damage abilities, have AoEs.
Yes.
So that can actually be a big problem. Actually, landing with spirits in AoE such that you hit 5 of the enemy teams, that is some serious skill. But honestly, even if you get 1 or 2, that or like 2 or 3, even just 1, that's still an absurd amount of damage that just spirits are doing.
Right.
And honestly, if you really wanted to, and I don't recommend this to anybody, there could be a Dagon in Mystico's future to counter out the Ghost Scepters that are inevitably coming up from Meenix.
Yeah, maybe. It would deal a lot of damage. I actually like that plan better than the Heart, because a Dagon is more or less affordable, a Heart is not. We did see Dagon Rush Wisp about a month and a half ago coming out from the team. What the heck happened to Power Rangers, actually? I haven't heard from them since when they beat Navi with Dagon Wisp, which you'd think would give a team a lot of, like, I don't know. Verve,
I
but I
thought
haven't heard from
Scandal
them.
did that once.
What's up?
I thought Scandal did that once. Solo mid Dagon Rush on Wisp.
Solo mid Dagon Rush Wisp is real, dude. I mean, you get your tier 4 spirits, and then you just get that Dagon, and you're dealing a pretty respectable amount of damage.
I actually think Wisp is really effective in the solo mid environment because he has that spirits to get farmed if he needs to sit back. That's one. He's hard to kill because his tether is a phenomenal blink. Even if you don't, it's not technically a blink. It's about as good as a blink. Overcharge gives,
it's in the neighborhood of a blink. I'll concede that much.
It's like a 1300 range ability, and if you can find something to target to, you are safe.
Sure.
You can't even be interrupted midway through it. So it's we're actually gonna see a go here from Mystico.
Yep. Sorry, what?
Oh. I thought we were going to see Mystico go on something because he activated
no. We do have a smoke.
They're
going to try to catch out Mihawk, but it looks like he might actually be safe, so no smoke just yet. Will they try to bait onto Fuzzy, and will that bait actually be successful? I'm not sure. Zoyo and Sono continuing to rotate. They've got about a quarter of the time left on the smoke. They're going to need to try to make something happen here. They're continuing to try to do a little pincer, a little trap here for Mihawk. I think they'll actually might get this. He realizes there's trouble, but there goes the dust. He's slowed. Open wounds, telekinesis, light strike array, bing bang boom. There goes Mihawk. But it cost 5 heroes a large amount of time to actually get this. Not that it's a bad kill. I mean, Sono improves to 4-0-0. That's how you want your carry. No assists. When he shows up, he kills.
Absolutely. The other problem, though, is that when we look at Artyk's carry, Ewo is sitting 3-0-0 and has 2 tower kills.
Sure, definitely.
So
good push here, actually. Meenix continuing to put pressure on this tier 1 tower. A Fortify comes out. Will we actually see an engagement is my question. First TP comes out. It does look like Smash is over here. And will he attempt to chase? He's got his Blink Dagger. Blink Dagger medallion. Dexter's going to try to get out. Oh, 2 hits. That's just not fair. 2 quick hits from Smash, the meld and the normal hit. And that's enough for Dexter to go from... Oh, man. Not even
honestly,
so much gone in 60 seconds as gone in 0.60 seconds.
Honestly, that whole engagement doesn't even favor Meenix because they end up trading heroes. And honestly, if we look at Artyk's lineup, I'm going to be quite honest.
Ooh, they're going on Sono, the Reality Rift. The 4-second stun, actually. He's going to cop a ton of damage. Sono is down. Oh, no. The one bright spot for Meenix now fading a little bit with the Lifestealer on the ground for 40 seconds or buyback. Oh, my goodness. Zoyo gets crit down. That tier 1 Chaos Knight crit. That was some first hit entangle right there. Immediately critting off Zoyo and picking him off. And they just have so much burst damage, Elprez. The TA, the Bounty Hunter, and the Chaos Knight all do such incredible immediate damage to Meenix. What do they have to do in response?
Ghost Scepters?
Yeah.
Or in Lifesteal's case, lots of armor items.
Armor and Ghost Scepters,
I'm talking about topping it off with like a Shiva's before or after an Assault Cuirass, and then you will not fear Artyk's lineup.
Well, they can go Shiva's on Nature's Prophet.
I say Shiva's on Lifestealer as well, just because of more armor. That said, I guess he could go for a heart as well.
I would like to see Cuirass, honestly. Although he has Ogre Club. Is it BKB?
BKB? Yeah. It could be Sanj and Yasha race card Lifestealer, but that sounds like a really bad idea.
That sounds like an awful idea. It could be, but I don't know. I really question the wisdom of that. I actually think a Halberd wouldn't be the end of the world. It gives you evasion. Meanwhile, Artyk, you talked about how fast they would kill this Roshan with the medallion. And goodness. That is fast. But here we go. Actually, the Aegis is on the ground. Will they steal it? Fuzzy will take this Aegis. Why didn't Artyk take this? They're starting to lose players. Smash is stunned out. They will pick him off. Iwo actually bought back already. Mystico copping quite a bit of damage. There's that Laguna Blade. Finally, the Illusory Orb will finish it off. Iwo is BKB'd right in the middle of there. 4 seconds stun on Dexter. Smash is back in here. He's trying to deal damage in the back half of play. Actually, the Reality Rift misses on Sono. He's got his Rage. Reality Rift misses again. Will he attempt a third time? A third Reality Rift lands on Giz. 2 seconds stun. Illuminate to go out. This is probably a Dead Nature's Prophet. He actually walks away from this. And Iwo hasn't quite gotten set. The Sprout comes out. I think Gizi will teleport out of this safely. Meanwhile, Smash actually getting preyed upon. They don't have detection. But they stole the Aegis and they actually get their first favorable trade of the game. Meenix absolutely pouncing upon the one opportunity they received and playing excellently to do so.
That whole engagement was like, I couldn't count the number of misplays Artyk was making in that trade. They thought that someone was going to grab the Aegis. Well, I guess Smash thought Ewo was going to grab it. Ewo thought Smash was going to grab it. They both ended up trying to leave the Roche pit to keep the entrance safe. And then by the time Fuzzy got in there, everyone was so confused. Fuzzy just walked up and stole the Aegis. It's like...
He almost like couldn't believe his eyes. Like you saw the puck hesitate. Like, wait, really? Is this really an Aegis just sitting on the ground? And he's like, yeah, I think it is.
And that was like a worst case scenario for Artyk. Well,
I mean,
let's
not make it all about crapping on Artyk. Meenix.
Oh no, not only that though, but like Lifestealer was on the ball in positioning, and this is race car Lifestealer.
Yeah. Well, no, it could still be Halberd.
It could be Halberd. I for some reason
I would
doubt
actually
that.
prefer to see a Halberd, kind of. I think it'd be really good for Smash. Oh, here we go. Meenix going in again. The quick dust comes out. Illusory Orb. Good Dream Coil. Wow, excellent. And the very smart focus on Mystico there. Dexter will fall again, but at this point, he's the sacrificial lamb. I think they almost don't care if he dies quickly in these fights. Iwo will take another fall, and he just bought back. This is a lot of wasted gold. Fuzzy, meanwhile, trying to get out. He Illusory Orbs. He TPs. He's actually going to make it out. Soto has a double kill already, and he wants Masoku, but unfortunately he's copping a ton of damage from Smash. He might get this kill, but he's in a lot of trouble from Templar Assassin. Smash continuing to chase. He blinks to catch Sono. Good armlet toggle. Sono is somehow still alive. He armlet toggles once more, but is there any sort of reinforcement coming? He armlet toggles again. He might TP out. I think he's made it out. Wow. Oh my god. Excellent play from Sono. 9-1-1. And all of a sudden, Meenix haven't just made it a game. They've almost equalized.
That was absurd. I cannot believe that Smash let that go, and Sono was able to armlet toggle all of that damage. That was phenomenal. Not only that though, Fuzzy,
right?
Fuzzy I feel was a little bit early on leaving because I guess he forgot he had the Aegis.
Yeah, well, yeah, he could have stayed and had the Aegis, but I don't know that they would have killed Smash, and it's like, you pay an Aegis for what exactly?
This is true, but still, phenomenal escapes from everyone on Artyk besides, the ones that got completely wrecked by
Dexter has no chance. Maybe if he affords a Ghost Scepter, but otherwise...
Yeah, that's still a long way off, though. You're looking at 1,600 gold
That's
before...
what I'm saying. Until then, he's in the B-Diz role. Like, he's just... I mean, Iwo is taking so much of his time out to kill Dexter in each of these fights. I honestly don't know how smart it is. I mean, it's a free kill, but everybody else stays up. Ooh, a little bit of trouble for Masoku here. Good Illuminate there, just to deny out this push, but Fuzzy clearing these creep waves incredibly quickly, and putting a bit of pressure on this tower. Will Artyk actually try to fight this, or are they sort of twice bitten, thrice shy here?
I think they really should just let this go. Honestly, at this point, one tower's okay, but Smash does have a DD rune, so if they're gonna...
Ooh, actually, Mihawk getting caught out. Good Sentry Ward placement here, and he just dies immediately. Smash is in here. Dexter's going to come. Poor guy. Actually, the Aegis is used up. Mystico is on the ground, but so is Dexter. Smash with a double kill, actually. This Templar Assassin is doing work. And Sono, unfortunately, I don't think he can stay it against Iwo and Smash. Excellent Sprout, but it's not enough. A triple kill for Templar Assassin. Smash saying, I am not to be trifled with when I have my DD rune. And perhaps Meenix stayed in a little too long here, and they're being punished fairly severely for it. Too much damage for this Templar Assassin. Artyk going to probably take this tier 2. Wow, that creep wave got cleared out quickly. Medallion Blink Templar Assassin. It's no joke. Basically a budget desolator here.
It's about as good as a Desolator. It gives you the same armor reduction, except not as much damage. But honestly, when you're TA, damage items aren't your top priority when you have Meld and Refraction. They become second priority. I'm predicting Smash is going for crit next, or maybe they feel like stacking the armor reduction in the event that Lifestealer does choose to go for that AC. And preemptive armor reduction does always pay for itself.
Definitely.
Let's see. That would be a total of actually 20 armor reduction coming out of just TA if she were to pick up
God.
from Smash just from a Desolator.
Right. One thing I do like from Artyk, actually, is the renewed focus on warding. There was a long time which they let their vision lapse, and now they're really, really controlling that vision, generating opportunities. It is Halberd for Sono, and I like this a lot more than I would have liked Sanj and Yasha. They got completely killed by Smash that last fight, and Halberd will partially reduce his ability to actually get that done.
Absolutely. The bonus is twofold, but sadly only half of the bonus is really going to apply to Ewo. But Smash, on the other hand, is going to get really shafted by the existence of the Halberd.
Ooh, relocate coming out, but I don't know if they're actually going to find the kill. Maybe a reality return. Good Sprout. Wow, excellent. They do get the vision with the... Oh, wow, that was close. Actually, they've got to retether. They don't... Iowa's still in the trees here. If they catch him out, oh my goodness, this could be a bad scene. But... Artyk actually coming in, but Mihawk's going to get picked off incredibly quickly. Fuzzy manages to pick him off. Iwo escapes no problem, but they lose Bounty Hunter again, and Mihawk has just been on the ground so much for these last several fights.
Yeah, Mihawk's actually getting to the point where he's starting to die quite a lot, and he's got to start pilling tank himself. And it's actually becoming
power treads.
Yeah, so that's definitely something. Rubik Soul Traps, that's probably one of the worst steals because you can't... It's harder to activate the traps when you don't have the sub-skill.
Right. Also, you can't tell which traps are yours.
Oh yeah, that's always fun. You can't tell.
Illuminate comes out. Sono actually might get caught out a little bit here. He's quite slow. Wow, Smash gets those kills quickly. Unfortunately, Gizi is still just not effective at all, and this Nature's Prophet just being able to survive. Sono preying on that Mystico. Actually, Iwo, Infest damage comes out. He has to flee out of here pretty quickly, but Smash is here. So much damage getting thrown out. The Halberd was used. 2 seconds stun. They're going to pick off Sono. A critical kill for Artyk. Sono without buyback. That gives Artyk a lot of breathing room here. They are trying to reassert supremacy on this map and doing a pretty good job of it, frankly.
Absolutely. Phenomenal play coming out of Iwa. The Heaven's Hellward was actually used on Smash. That was actually a big usage. It made Smash pretty useless for the duration of that. Sure. Smash, seeing that, should probably be looking at picking up BKB almost immediately. That should be a straight buy because he has the gold for it.
Yep.
And
I think that's what we'll see, probably.
If he doesn't, I'm a little bit concerned just because that's TA who can't right click is a pretty useless TA. Like,
sure, only for 3 seconds or what have you, but still.
Yeah, the other problem is that it's also 25% evasion, and for heroes as bursty as Chaos Knight and TA, that could actually make a huge difference.
Oh no, that's part of why I love that pickup. I think the evasion is fantastic.
If he dodges like that crucial meld first strike, oh, straight bought a Desolator instead of a BKB.
Okay. Going for the throat. I mean, they want to win, they want to get kills, and the Dezo will get them kills faster than BKB will, but the flip side is Smash still a little bit vulnerable, potentially, and very vulnerable to that Heaven's Halberd usage.
Yeah, absolutely. It does let them push towers a little bit better as well, so that's like a couple of extra bonuses, but I still don't know how I feel about picking up that over a BKB, especially against a Heaven's Halberd.
Sure.
That seems like a huge misstep. Just because, like, yeah, it's only like a couple of seconds where you can't do anything.
Sono. Oh no, he's silenced. This is a huge kill. Sono, unfortunately, oh, he gets caught out, and the track kill. That's really unfortunate. Fuzzy gets a kill on a tower in the top, but unfortunately, 54 seconds without the benefit of a life stealer. Oh no, Artyk are going to push right in here. Meenix, without Sono to deal the damage, what other tools can they really rely upon? I'm not sure. Puck is building out that Yules. I think Fuzzy is actually done with it, but I don't know. I think they may have to give up this Rax. Double damage rune again on Smash. 2 hits. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Dexter down. And now Meenix have 3 down. They absolutely must give away this tower. DD rune coming through in the clutch for Artyk 2 times already.
It's really gotten to the point where Smash got enough gold and Ewo got enough gold that not even Lifestealer can compete with it. And one of the big things is this Orchid pickup, phenomenal against Lifestealer, against Nature's Prophet, against Rubik, and there's the GG. And
I respect this. I mean, it's going to be tough at this point. After those last 2 big fights that they lost, it was going to be really tough just to prevent this Templar Assassin from destroying them. Any other thoughts about this game?
Honestly, just phenomenal play coming out of Smash. It's really good ganking from Smash, but also Mystico. Mystico was everywhere.
Yeah.
There was not a single time where Mystico really wasn't present outside of, like some various solo kills. And it actually got to the point where Dexter started Laguna blading Mystico just to get him out of the fight as fast as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. They focused a lot onto Mystico. Sono was spending a lot of his time. Dexter was spending a lot of his time. They really wanted Mystico out of this fight. Now, let's note, they were more or less successful. He had 11 teamfight presence at like 14 kills, and he has 14 teamfight presence at 26 kills. But the sole fact that he occupied so much of Meenix's attention meant that Smash was free to play. If you Heaven's Halberd Templar Assassin, that's all well and good. But if you don't kill Templar Assassin in that time, after that Heaven's Halberd expires, she's just going to kill you all again. So unfortunately, Meenix just couldn't find the comeback quite that they wanted. But to be fair, they got pretty close. They won a couple critical team fights. They got themselves back into the game. And unfortunately, Sono just got caught out a few too many times. And they had a couple team fights that didn't go the way they wanted. But I think they still have a good shot. I mean, they're just going to have to regroup for the second game. In my opinion, the places that they need to improve on are particularly laning assignments and the laning phase in general, because Artyk really did completely dominate them early on, and part of that is the fact that they had this completely unsuccessful try versus try on the top.
Absolutely. I think that's a huge part of it, and the second part of it is just they didn't really spend too much time like really grouped together. No, while that does reduce the XP on your supports, it would have got them killed less, just because then you couldn't get picked off by Chaos Knight and Io just appearing on one guy. And Lifestealer actually starts getting picked off towards the end just because the existence of an Orchid ruins Lifestealer's day.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, fantastic play coming out of Artyk Smash in particular, as well as Mystico. So, that's game one.
Yep, game one. Moving on, folks. Netolic Raid Call Pro League. Winners Bracket. West Division. Round 1, Meenix versus Artyk. Artyk up 1-0. We will start the second game in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.